Hey everybody, Jim here, and tonight, nice brisk chilly night. I'm out here in Shinjuku to, I guess, hang around, maybe get some food, hit a bar or something like that. But before I do so, I want to do a little bit of game hunting. So I think I want to go to at least one book off while I'm here, and I definitely want to go to Surugaya. Then after I get that done and I get the games I want, then the nightlife stuff can kick in. But while we're here, let's go game hunting together. So I'm gonna walk around, film some stuff, have a little fun, and then we're gonna go look at some video games. So stick around and enjoy the scenery. It's Shinjuku, it's nighttime, it's obviously awesome. All right, let's go, let's do this. Alright, so we are over closer to the west side of the station right now, actually. Forgot that this is actually the side where the book off is. We're coming up on, I guess it's called the 110 building. It's kind of like a big shopping center, I guess. But there's a book off inside. It's 2 floors, I think. And there's like a bunch of stuff. There's way more than just books. There's figures, manga, things like that, but tons of games as well. So that's what we're gonna get started with. I think it's on like the 5th and 6th floor. So let's get inside and check it out. So that was the book off at the 101 building. So as you saw, they didn't have much in the way of retro games. They had a ton of like Switch and PS4, that kind of thing. Obviously being a book off, they had more modern stuff than retro stuff. So I actually didn't pick up anything in there, but that's okay, because I'm about to head back over to the east side and we're gonna go to Surugaya, and I know with 100% certainty they're gonna have probably a whole lot of stuff I want. So we're gonna do that. So we're gonna head back over to the east side, and we're gonna get ourselves in a Surugaya loaded with games. All right, let's go. Okay, so now we are coming up on the Marui Annex building, and it's right here next to the Walled 9 movie theater. This particular building is like, it's a huge shopping center, so there's just like floor after floor of all kinds of different places. But most importantly, on the 5th floor, they have a Surugaya, and it has all kinds of stuff for collectors. You know, things like figures, model kits, manga, board games, other various things. But most importantly for us, they have a nice big selection of video games, and that's what we're here for tonight. So let's get inside the Marui Annex, let's go to Surugaya, and let's get us some games. Here we go.
Capcom Original RPG Breath of Fire 始まる。Capcom
All right, finally getting to some game hunting proper. Having a look at some Famicom games. Getting started with something caught my eye. This game, Kira Kira Star Knight DX, I believe by a company called Riki. Which this is a pretty cool game. Very simple. You just collect stars and whatnot, but very colorful, and the soundtrack is awesome. I think that's the real appeal to this game, honestly, is you get it for the soundtrack. But that's 3,200 yen, so not too bad, I suppose. And I think Columbus Circle published it. They published a lot of cool like indie stuff recently. As we carry on, this also for 3,600 yen, not bad for a complete copy of Parodius Da, which I'm a huge fan of the Gradius series, and so it makes sense that I'd really love Parodius as well, because it's the same basic gameplay, but with a lot of wacky stuff that you'll find in some of these Japanese exclusive games. That's typically why they didn't get Western releases. Maybe some stuff that people wouldn't exactly appreciate the humor. For 20 some odd bucks, this is Neketsu Koha Kunio-kun, aka Renegade, which is a really fun game. Very simple though, very short, and the precursor to games like River City Ransom and Super Dodgeball. So you can't go wrong with kind of the first attempt at a beat 'em up by Technos Japan until they went on to Double Dragon. And this, speaking of beat 'em ups, 9,700 yen, not a cheap game. But Mighty Final Fight, I say if this game had 2 players, it would be the best beat 'em up on the Famicom or NES. It very, very nearly is the best beat 'em up anyway, just because the gameplay, graphics, and soundtrack are awesome. Moving on to some Super Famicom games. We have here a game I bring up all the time. You can't go wrong with it for 2,200 yen. Ganbari Goemon 2, the sequel to Legend of the Mystical Ninja, I do believe. Really great. One of the best platformers on the Super Famicom, which is saying a lot. All 4 of those games are really fantastic. And here, speaking of Kunio, we have, I believe that this is Shin Neketsu Koha Kunio-kun, the sequel to River City Ransom, and it incorporates some cool stuff from Renegade. But it is 2 players, and you can actually swap back and forth between Kunio and Riki and their girlfriends as well, so they can get it in on the action. So they're not just damsels in distress, they can do some ass kicking of their own. And speaking of Parodius as well, I think this is Gokujo Parodius. And again, great shoot 'em up, lots of fun. And as you can see, more of that, I guess, that strange Japanese aesthetic that maybe wouldn't fly so well overseas. But they're still great games, lots of fun. Had a look at some PC Engine as well. They had quite a lot of stuff. But really only one game caught my eye. It's a game that, well, here it is. I'm always looking for more copies of it, and I always talk about it. 7,400 yen for download 2. I love this game for a couple of reasons. One, obviously, it's a really fun, well-made shoot-'em-up with good graphics and sound. And then it's crazy. Here, you get to fight Hitler inside his own brain. You go into the brain of Hitler and you destroy him from within. And any game that allows you to do that, you know, there's something to it, you know. I think more people should be aware of it. Here we got some Dreamcast games. Of course, I'm a huge fan of the Dreamcast and its library of games for 10,500 yen. So that's under $100. Not cheap for, yeah, this absolutely amazing game, Twinkle Star Sprites. Competitive, like one-on-one shoot 'em up, where you just try to create as much anarchy and havoc as you possibly can for the other player, and that's very cool. And then here, something also just awesome, 7,900 yen for Sturmwind, one of the earlier kind of indie shoot-em-ups to get published on the Dreamcast. It's a great game, lots of fun, and I believe it is now available on the Nintendo Switch as well. So anyway you can play it, Sturmwind. That's a good game. We got lots more stuff here on the Dreamcast. We got Cool Toon, US Shinmu, which is awesome, Sega Gaga, Space Channel 5 Part 2, I believe, Sonic Adventure, I mean, on and on and on, Dead or Alive, Biohazard 2, my favorite version of Biohazard 2, by the way. And then we moved on to some Saturn games. They have a ton of stuff here. 7,500 for X-Men vs. Street Fighter with the box and the 4 meg RAM cart, which is one of my favorite fighting games ever. Also, some Vampire Savior, my favorite in the series, and then 600 yen for Vampire Hunter, which is just very affordable game. If you're going to start a import Saturn collection, that might be one to start with. And here we have In the Hunt. Extremely fun game. Unique premise for a shoot 'em up on the Saturn. The whole submarine, whole dealio going on, and obviously from the same development studio as Metal Slug. So really great graphics, good sound design, and just epic gameplay. Very good stuff. And it's about $100. So not cheap. Lots of shooters on the Saturn are not exactly cheap, but you get what you pay for. They're great games. 2,900 for Guardian Heroes. Again, still under $30 for that game. Great game. Here's one of my favorites. Japan exclusive Saturn games by Capcom. Cyberbots. I mean, just an immensely fun 2D fighter with giant robots. And still pretty affordable game. And tons of fun. Simple, easy to pick up and play. Great graphics, great sound. Yeah, it's a shame that did not get a Western release, but we got some of the Samurai Spirits, King of Fighters games, including 96 here, and 97 as well, and they have either just the jewel case, or you can pick it up in a box with the RAM cart, and that's quite awesome. And then this, always happy to come across this, 800 yen, Sakura Wars Columns. This is another game that's very affordable, pretty easy to come by if you're starting a Saturn import collection. This would be a good game to start with, because it's affordable, and it's very fun. And again, it is a Japan exclusive, and it has a sequel on the Dreamcast as well, which is also fun. We got lots more stuff here, including more shoot-em-ups like Strikers 1945, which is fantastic, Darius Gaiden, and this, a heavy hitter, Donpachi, for 6,400 yen. Of course, the precursor to Dodonpachi, which is a better game, but this is still an amazing shoot 'em up. And I'd say as far as shooters go on the Saturn, it is one of the more affordable. 6,400 when you're talking about Saturn shooters is actually not that bad. And we're looking at, well, first of all, a copy of Bram Stoker's Dracula on the North American Sega CD. So who the hell knows how that ended up here. As we're looking at some Mega CD stuff, including Echo CD. They had some Mega CD, a little bit of like 132X game you can see there. Stuff I'm not really collecting for, don't really get requests for so much. But here, Arrow Flash, 12,500 yen. Not cheap at all, but this is a really great shoot 'em up on the Mega Drive and Sega Genesis as well. So if you've got a North American Genesis, you can still find Arrow Flash. Great game, lots of fun. Kind of steep though, but we got other stuff here like Thunder Force and Gunstar Heroes. So much goodness. Lots of quality titles here. Strider Hiryu, 2,200 yen. And 1,200 yen for Super Thunderblade, a launch title for the Mega Drive in Japan. And this, what is this? 3,200 for Street Fighter 2 Dash Plus Champion Edition, which is you know, just a great version of that game, especially if you got a 6-button controller. And here, this is very cool. Darius Extra Edition. This is actually a recent release for the Mega Drive. It is the original Darius, but I guess upgraded. Made all the more better. So this is really cool. I think this was actually released earlier this year, and you know, there's no better way to fight giant fish and crustacean spaceships, I guess. But yeah, Darius Extra Edition for 5,000 yen, so probably in the neighborhood of like $44 or $45, so that ain't bad. And Dragon Ball Z Buyou Retsuden, which if you like the Super Butoden games on the Super Famicom, you'll like this game, because it's the exact same gameplay. It's just the Mega Drive version of one of the Super Butoden games. So yeah, that ain't bad. And we, you know, have a quick look. There's lots of stuff there. Fantasy Star and Puyo Puyo Bare Knuckle. But we're gonna wrap it up coming up here soon, but lots of good stuff in here. So I left with a bag full of games. Ooh, Mark III in the box. Don't come across that every day. Game Gear as well. Anyway, let's wrap up this little game hunting trip. Let's get outside for some final words. Okay, so that'll do it for the Surugaya in the Marui Annex. Had some fun looking around at things. Even got myself a nice bag of games here. Good selection of stuff. Always nice to stop into the Surugaya here, because they usually get new stuff in and the prices aren't, well, they aren't too terrible. Anyway, I think that's it for me for tonight, because getting a little late and I'm kind of hungry. Haven't had my dinner yet. So I hope you enjoyed tagging along tonight for a little game hunting run in Shinjuku. Always fun to do some night hunting. And anyway, until next time, take care, everybody, and I'll see you then. Goodbye.